and welcome to the 2021 All-Staff Meeting. Can I just say it's awesome to see so many people actually here in person. For many of you, it's probably the first time that you've been back on campus in a year and a half. Some of you never left. So for those of you who never left, thank you for sticking with us. And for those of you who are the first time back, we're really glad that you came back. And those of you that are watching from home, hello. It's also great if you're not here on campus. The weather's been interesting today, so I think everybody managed to get over here without getting blown away or getting soaking wet, and hopefully we'll get done this afternoon before it picks back up again. I get an opportunity to do some introductions this afternoon, and I'm going to start with a campus leader who really needs no introduction. Dr. Lisa Freeman has been the president at Northern Illinois University for the past several years, and she's a true supporter of student affairs, and she's going to give us an opportunity to talk with us a little bit about her vision for our division and where she would like to see us go and some other things. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to talk about, but please help me welcome Dr. Freeman.
Thanks, Mike, and it's really wonderful to be here today with all of you and with our new Interim Vice President for Student Affairs, Charlie Fay. Can we give Charlie a big hand? Like you, I am looking forward to the start of fall semester, and I know that it's a fall semester that's not going to be like last year, and not going to be like all the years before that because of the continuing influence and impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. In my Northern Star article to our incoming students, I shared 3 things that I wanted them to know about successful Huskies, and I want to share those with you today as well. First, that successful Huskies care about the entire pack. They embrace our diversity and welcome the opportunity to listen to each other's different perspectives. They protect each other's health, well-being, and safety, and treat each other always with respect and kindness. Second, that successful Huskies aren't afraid to ask for help and utilize NIU's resources. And I noted in my comments to our incoming students that NIU's Center for Student Assistance is a great first stop to get connected to resources and to get headed in the right direction to address their needs. And last, I mentioned to them, and I think that this is my favorite thing about NIU, successful Huskies are active and involved, and we give them a lot of opportunities to do that. They can take advantage of a wide variety of student organizations, on-campus jobs, indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, cultural centers, spectator events, and service opportunities, and more. And this is a way for them to connect to our campus, to explore their passions, and to make friends. None of the 3 things that I told our incoming students are unique to these times, but the importance of them taking these steps is heightened because our students were dramatically and adversely impacted by the changes in how they had to live the past year. Our students shared with us that last year they didn't gain satisfaction from limited, largely virtual interactions with peers and participation in clubs and extracurricular activities. They missed being together, face to face, making those really important social connections. Our students reported they didn't feel engaged with a campus community. They felt isolated, sad, and they experienced heightened levels of anxiety and depression. And our students who described themselves as feeling a profound negative impact of COVID-19 talked about how it hurt their physical, social, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and financial well-being. Now, importantly, these are the same students who also told us that this year they seek a university experience beyond coursework through which they feel engaged, supported, and part of our NIU community. They desire robust support services, programming, extracurricular activities, and co-curricular activities, whether remote or in person. And so there lies the greatest challenge and opportunity for all of you and for student affairs professionals around the country. And I know that you guys are up for it. I know that you will be creative and intentional in the ways that you engage and re-engage our students. I'm certain that you recognize the importance of building community and affinity to NIU, particularly among our first and second year students, and the need to connect them to on-campus, in-person resources and services. I'm also confident in your ability to help our upperclassmen count down to graduation and prepare for careers in a world that has changed because of COVID-19. I know that you will respond to the needs of the students traumatized the pandemic, and I know that because I've watched how amazing you have all been for the past 18 months. In fact, let's give yourselves a hand right here for just being there for our students. I have been impressed, and I know that you will continue to listen to our students' voices, to focus on their identified concerns as you seek to provide a positive student experience and create for them and for all of us a real sense of belonging in the Husky family. And I know that you will continue to both support and challenge our NIU students to develop them as leaders, to drive their success. You will help our students see their competency and their resiliency. I'm confident that you will do this because it's what you do best for our amazing students. And our community is always stronger because of your efforts. And coming out of this pandemic, we are going to be in a better place because you care so much and you work so hard. So welcome back, and thank you for all that you do to make NIU a special place. Again, let's give yourselves a really big round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman. The second campus leader that I'd like to introduce this afternoon is our provost, Dr. Beth Ingram. Beth literally flew across the country today to join. Well, I don't know that she came just to join us, but it's a nice benefit that she actually made it into DeKalb to be able to join us. As you all know, the academic and student affairs partnerships are incredibly important on campus, and I think Dr. Ingram will spend a little bit of time talking about how we might partner together as we head into this coming year.
Thank you. I did just fly in this morning, and I am delighted to be here with you to welcome you back to campus. As I was thinking about what I might talk about, I could reiterate what President Freeman said about the fantastic work that you do every day, and I see it when I talk to you about specific students or when students come to me with problems, and I can say, well, talk to Kelly or talk to Mike or talk to so-and-so, and I know that that student is going to be taken care of. I have no doubt in my mind that that student finds his or her way on campus. When I was thinking about these remarks, I thought about three things that have been on my mind this summer, and the first is exhaustion. I think the last 18 months has been exhausting. It's hard to deal with uncertainty, with anxiety, day after day after day, and not knowing whether we're going to be orange or red or yellow or what's coming up on the map or on the news. And I've been feeling that throughout the summer, but about a week ago I started feeling excited because I started seeing more people on campus. I knew that our students were registering for classes. We have one of the biggest freshman classes that we've ever had. I know that just a week from now, 2 weeks from now, they'll be moving into the dorms, that you'll be there to support them and help them. And I always tell students I have two favorite times on campus, and the start of classes in the fall is one of them. The other thing that I reminded myself of that got me excited was when President Freeman and I were at commencement earlier this summer. That's what makes this all worthwhile. Watching those students come back a year after they missed their graduation and walk across the stage and not shake the president's hand, but, elbow bump or high five. That's what makes it all worthwhile. And you are critical to making sure that that pathway is open to our students. And then finally, I've challenged the people in my office, and I challenge you too. This is a year when we really have to put students at the center of what we do and an equity mindset at the center of what we do. We have to make sure that in everything we do, we're thinking about the differential effects that it might have on our students of color or our Pell eligible students or other groups of students on campus. We need to think about how we create policies and procedures, create activities that invite all of us into an inclusive community that supports the success of every single one of our students. And I know that that is at the heart of the work that you do. I look forward to the partnerships that we can create this year between student affairs and academic affairs. I'm excited to have Charlie here, who's a long-time student affairs professional and who has worked in other universities to create partnerships with academic affairs. And finally, let me just say thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you've done over the last year to keep our students on track, and all the work I know that you're going to commit yourselves to this year to get our new Huskies, our kind of new Huskies, our sophomores, and our continuing students back onto campus, back into class, back into student orgs, and back to being the true great Huskies I know they all can be. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman and Dr. Ingram, for spending some of your valuable time with us this afternoon. Okay, so we're going to try to do something here in an organized fashion because we've got a lot of content this afternoon and not a lot of time. So the directors that have new staff to introduce, you're going to come up to the front and get in line at the microphone. Everybody else is going to stay in their seats. And then when you introduce your new staff, you're going to stand up and scream or wave or whatever you can do so we can see you and know who you are. If you want to pull down your mask for that 30 seconds so we don't just see a little bit of your eyes, you can do that. And we're going to try to do this efficiently, but also to try to introduce our new folks because we actually do have a number of new staff that have joined us. So if you're a director or the designee for your department that has new staff, come on up, get in line at the microphone, and then we're going to quickly, I'm not going to call on you, you're just going to introduce your folks, who's ever first in line, and then go sit down, and we'll get everybody introduced this afternoon.
Being in the front makes this really easy. Hi everyone, I'm Aubrey Huntz, Associate Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life. I have two new graduate assistants. They are not here, but when you see them around, their names are Ian Lebanon and Catherine Albano.
Hello, hello. I'm Eleanor Savoy, the Assistant Director for Campus Activities Board. I also have two new graduate assistants working with me on our team this year. One is here and one is watching from afar. So Nani Kazada is here with us today. Hey, Nani. And Mariah Osborne is watching from home.
Good afternoon, Jeff Salmon, Center for Student Assistance. We have three new graduate assistants, Natalia Jarvis, Cindy Duran, and Chris Johnson. And we also have two new undergraduate peer academic coaches from our partnership with the Husky Academic Support Center. They are Cassandra and Emma Van Zuyden.
Hello, Dave Lockbaum with the Home Student Center. Operations Services, we have a new grad student, and that is Katie Diedick, right in the back.
Good afternoon. My name's Jeannie Meyer from Student Conduct. We have two graduate assistants joining us this year. That would be Madison Riggs and Ashley Briscoe, who aren't here, but they're excited to start.
Good afternoon. Joe Lovelace from Students Legal Assistance. I'll have one new GA starting. Her name's Erica Franklin. She's not here, but we've spoken and she's excited to start. So thank you.
John Boswell, Retail Dining. We have two new employees here today. We got Assistant Manager Ted Scalf and Retail Supervisor Brittany Wakefield.
Hi, Tim Piquette, Director of Counseling and Consultation Services. We're excited to welcome our three new doctoral interns, Robin Bates and Sarah Fritchie, both from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. And we have Mai Wang from the Adler School. We also have 3 practicum externs who couldn't be here today, but we're very excited that they're joining us as well.
And I'm helping out Mike Kuba, who couldn't be with us today, and I don't know if he's here. Is Avery Gomez here? Oh, yeah, okay. So Avery's not new to us. He's an alum, but he's our new IT support associate in the divisional technology team.
Hi, I'm Dan. I work in housing. I got a really long list, but I also have a welcome gift for Charlie on behalf of Housing Residential Services, so if you'll indulge me. A couple more masks because we don't think this is over yet. So some extras for you. A free meal, compliments of Dan Kanan. Do not be concerned that it says 2018. He's a man of integrity and he'll stand behind that. Your own home saliva-based testing kit so you can practice at home. And we want you to be part of the team when we do Residence Hall opening next week. So welcome.
I want to thank you for this. I want you to know that, Dan, that for a long time in my life, I've worn Husky clothes. I didn't realize it was a school. I just was wearing big clothes, so I didn't.
Great. All right, on with the new hires. We had an excellent draft class this year. In fact, we were rated #1 by USA Today. So I'll start with the new hall directors. Raven Johnson came to us from Marquette University. Kelsey Crawford Scott, my Husky buddy, most recently from Murray State University. Now for the graduate assistants. I gotta need a little more light here. Caleb Connolly, graduate hall director, recently from Ball State University. Caprice Risby is joining housing. She's from Illinois State University. She was working in leadership and student affairs last year. Casey Fuentes is a new graduate assistant from Millikan University. Lamia Shapiro, a new graduate assistant from Augsburg University. Omar Ramirez, graduate assistant, most recently from Western Illinois University. Fernando Gonzalez, one of our graduate assistants running desk operations from the University of Illinois. He's back helping some of our families do drop and go right now. Jaleel Shepard, an NIU graduate, going to be helping us with desk operations in Stevenson. Natalie Dominguez is our graduate assistant for leadership. I believe she's helping back in the halls right now. She's most recently from the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh. And Angelica Flores is a graduate assistant in our work request office. Angela is also an NIU graduate. Did I miss anybody? Those are all the new hires in housing and residential services.
Oh, it's actually kind of tall. And lastly, but definitely not least, we have some of our SGA leadership with us today, so not new to NIU, but new to these roles. So Devlin, Dallas, and Leah are 3 of our leaders that we're going to be working with this year. We're happy to have them.
Did we miss anybody? That's more than I thought we would have for a year like this. So let's have one round of applause for all the new folks that have joined us. The last person who's kind of been pseudo-introduced is Dr. Charles J. Fay, who is our new Interim Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Fay brings over 40 years of experience in student affairs in a variety of institutions. He has a broad knowledge of student affairs, having served in many different capacities, including Vice President for Student Affairs, Dean of Students, Enrollment Management Officer, and Director of Residential Life. His service includes 23 years as the Chief Student Affairs Officer at 5 different institutions. Dr. Fay received his EDD in Administration of Higher Education from Texas A&M University, and both a Master of Education and a BA from Penn State University. Let's give a warm Husky welcome to Dr. Charles Fay.
Okay, number 1, lower the mic. Boy, it's great to see everybody. There's nothing, as the provost said, there's almost nothing as good as an opening of school year, except the closing of the school year when you have commencement. And I've had the pleasure to sit on stage for 45 years watching graduates from 11, this year will be 11 institutions, walk across the stage and achieve their dreams. And I'm going to talk about that in a little while, but I want you to know how excited I am to be here. 6 months ago, I never expected to be standing before colleagues like you. I had retired. I retired in 2017. and decided to go back to work for a year at IUP in Pennsylvania, if any of you know where that is, Indiana University, Pennsylvania. I couldn't understand, Indiana, Pennsylvania, I think they didn't know where they were for a while. And then I retired again, helping take care of our kids, and then COVID hit, and frankly, I'll be honest with you all, I decided to get back into this work when my daughter got COVID, and is a long-haul COVID. She's still suffering from it, has POTS. She can't work. She lost her job. I said, I'm healthy. I can work. So I went back to work so I can help them, and I got the best location I could think of to come back and do this stuff that I've really enjoyed for a long time. One of the reasons that I asked to do this today was so you can get a sense of who I am and what my expectations are in fulfillment of the university's mission. It's important for you to know because you'll be hearing a lot about it during the course of the year. It starts with student success, in the middle it's student success, and it ends with student success. If we have 2,047, I think was the number I saw for freshmen coming in, we need 2,047 people walking across the stage, 6 years, 4 years, 5 years later, however long it is. I'm not naive enough to believe that that's going to happen. But every one we lose it's a loss for both society, for them, for their families. We need to do everything we possibly can to help them fulfill their dream of why they went to this university in the first place. It wasn't to come here and party in a fraternity or with me downstairs in the cafeteria. They came here to get a degree. They came here to study with great faculty. They came here to be successful. And I'm going to talk about that later. Our job is to, and it's not in my slideshow, but our job has been traditionally over the last 100 years to create a milieu of learning so that students and faculty can do what they were hired here for faculty, and the students came here to do, learn. And so if we can do that, we will be successful. I've got to go past a couple slides to this one to talk about, so you know from where I come from, I've come from a traditional student affairs and higher ed background where there used to be only 4 major divisions of an institution, and student affairs was one of them. Over the course of time and the needs of institutions of higher education and student affairs for that matter, but the administration of a university started to look a little different, and they had more divisions. If you look on this, first of all, I wanted to say that Student Affairs has one mission. We have one vision, and that is what the university's mission is. We're here to help them succeed. But that traditional university, we were part of that four-prong approach to it. But universities have changed over time, and you can see here at NIU, there are about 10 divisions, maybe 11, 10, all of them important to help you move the university forward to advance its mission and to help students succeed. We're partnered on this slide, you'll see, with the provost because it's a critical function. It's a critical function for us to help that learning happen in the classroom by how we create the environment outside the classroom to permit students to get to the library, to study, to have a residence hall environment that is conducive to study and not doing other things that, not that we don't, we have a good time. You're gonna know from working with me that I enjoy what I do and I like to laugh and I like for us to have fun, but I take this very seriously. And I'm sure all of you do as well, because that's critical to us and for our students. I put up a slide which is a fairly traditional mission of student affairs that you can find on very many websites across the country. I happened to steal this from one that I helped write at UMBC a few years ago, just to show you. And it talks about things like providing and co-creating programs, services, and opportunities for students. It speaks to the issue and importance of collaboration among all of us within the division, but certainly with all of our colleagues in academics, in finance and business. All the people on this campus help to create that environment for learning. And then we leverage our expertise to provide what we know about students and their out-of-class activities and programs and services to help inform the administration, the president, the provost, faculty, deans, about what the students are now experiencing and what they need from us as a university to help them succeed. This is NIU's division of Student Affairs mission, and you should all know it. If you don't, how many of you can recite it by hand? No. But you should be thinking about it all the time. And every time you guys have a meeting, you ought to be thinking, how are we fulfilling our mission, which helps us fulfill the university's mission? And I like the first line. It really is critically important to what we do. We support the academic and personal success for our students. Success is in the first sentence that you write. And I applaud you for that. And the rest is fairly standard. We provide the learning environment, we provide the activity through engagement, getting students engaged, not staying home, not in their, if they have to go to their car to study, then we haven't done what we need to do to provide that kind of opportunity for learning for them. And I've been on campuses where that was the case. But we look to promote their welfare and persistence, and I'm glad you folks have stated that previously in what you're doing. Your core values are critical and they're right on target. Student-centered service, collaborative partnerships, inclusive communities that we help to create through a diverse and an inclusive and an equity-minded university. We believe as a profession that we need to continue to grow and develop. So we do things like bring in programs for ourselves on campus to learn, to better our skill sets. We go to conferences, whether the university can help us go or not. We go to those conferences because we know we will learn. And as we learn, we network. And as we network, we have better opportunities to bring in other resources to campus. And frankly, I have found some of the best employees I've ever had by going to conferences and stealing them from some other university. and that's what we do when we provide these networking opportunities. And then it's really critical, we have to keep this in mind too, that we are ethical and efficient stewards of resources that are assigned to us at the university. I believe most of us are in student affairs for the primary purpose of dream fulfillment. Students dream. They come to campus because they dream of a better future. Parents send their students and spend a lot of money sending them to a university because they have dreams. They want their children to be better off than they were. And society, they dream of a better world, a better and more just opportunity for their citizens. So they invest in higher education. Are they investing enough? Our opinion, we can say no. But the fact is it's still millions and millions and millions and some billions of dollars are invested in higher education. So they have a vested interest, and that's because they believe in the dream as well. I'm going to come back to the concept of dreams. I believe so firmly in it. You'll hear more about that later. For NIU and its students to achieve their dreams and the other purposes of higher education, we have to contribute to the success of students. It will not just happen in the classroom. We have to focus on that so that our students succeed. We must be prepared for that role, and we have to understand what the challenges and issues are that are before us so that we can help ourselves and our students overcome them. Well, what are some of the challenges? I could ask you, but we don't have the time. I was going to do it that way. But I'm going to put up what I think are some of the challenges facing us this year. First one, stress, mental health. Why? Students haven't been on our campus effectively for a year and a half. They have tried to learn new learning modes. They had to work with all the pressures that happen from their home life, watching sometimes their parents or themselves losing jobs. That's stressful. Can they afford to come back to school? We went through a huge period of time where I can't remember right now, but it was over 10% unemployment in the country. And that meant a lot of folks who were working to help their students go to school lost their jobs, and can they afford to come back? That's tremendous stress. Those folks who in the counseling center know that prior to COVID even, there was the issues of stress, anxiety, and concern were out there to the point where suicidal ideation was rising to almost epidemic level itself. Well, have that as what it was 3 years ago. Add on all the stresses that come from COVID and job loss and fear and anxiety. What's that going to mean now when they come back here? They're going to bring more stress with them. Our job is what? To help them reduce that stress. Everything we can do to remove a barrier that is before a student will help reduce a little bit of the stress that they're going to be under. But here are the other things. I think we're going to have to face issues of ethics because we're doing things a little different than we've ever done before. You know as well as I do how the importance of diversity and access and inclusion and equity are all critical factors, not just here at NIU, although very important here at NIU, but nationally. What we've gone through as a society, self-inflicted in my own opinion, but I won't get into the political aspects of that, but the things we've gone through as a society based around the issues of diversity and equity have not gone away, will not go away, probably, and maybe never will go away. But we can reduce the impact of those things by how we help students and faculty and staff on our campus and alumni and visitors interact with each other and lay out expectations of what we believe is effective Husky behavior and expectations. We have to help each other develop leadership skills and those in our students. We have to look and improve fiscal skills. I did my research on management and professional development needs back in the 90s, and this was in the 90s, so what is that, 30 years ago? One of the top things that student affairs professionals said was important were fiscal skills. I'm sorry, the student affairs vice presidents and presidents of universities said were fiscal skills. When I asked the professionals, the mid-level managers, fiscal skills came in next to last. We didn't take it seriously. Well, we have to. We have to be effective stewards of our resources if we're going to ever expect to get more back. Okay, so I'm going to stress that a lot during the year. Assessment and research is important, and you had assessment as part of the division. I think during all the stresses that you all had with budgets, that was a position eliminated. We can't eliminate the process. Assessment has to happen. So we're going to look in the division over the course of the year of how we can reincorporate assessment more effectively into what we do, and that may mean we each have to be working on a committee, for example. Every department represented on an assessment committee where we help each other learn how to do assessment and make assessment part of what we do as an everyday practice. Oh, there's that stress and mental health thing again. We also have government regulations and professional development issues and networking and professional involvement and change tolerance. Change tolerance is something that I think we really have to focus on as well. We are this year, as much as anything, going to have to expect change, expect how we do things to be different, and help our students deal with that change. So we can't be change intolerant. We have to be change tolerant and work through the issues. That doesn't mean that you can't raise the concern, because we won't know what the change will mean if we don't know the problems you're going to experience while you're going through it. So talk to your supervisor, talk to Kelly and Mike and me about the things that you're experiencing so that I can help bring those concerns to the leadership table that the president convenes and help them understand it so we can move forward with modifying it or reducing it. Student success, student learning, persistence, graduation, that's all part of the whole issue. And involvement of parents is an issue that has been around for a while. Helicopter parents, and I heard there was stealth parents, stealth fighter parents, and just all kinds of definitions. But the fact is, we've shied away too often as a profession from involving our parents, and that's a mistake. Students succeed because of a three-pronged approach in their education, in my opinion. The institution, themselves, and their parents. Those three things have to work in concert in order to help students succeed. If we left one of them out, what happens to the stool? It collapses. So keeping parents involved appropriately, I'm not saying just open everything up, but appropriate involvement of parents can help us help students overcome issues that they have. And then stress and mental health, again. All right, so I'm going to go into, I had literally 62 slides when I started this thing, and I cut a lot out, so please bear with me on this. But I did want to talk about one of them, and this one on government regulations and things. It always seems to bug us in higher education. I wanted to talk about that just for a moment. There are regulations and laws and policies and procedures that are dictated in many ways by accredited agencies or state legislatures or governors or the board of trustees of our university and other bodies that say you have to consider this, you have to do this, you have to wear masks inside buildings, you have all those things that are on there are important that we understand there are good reasons for them, and we need both compliance and understanding and working through them. COVID restrictions I put on HIPAA and FERPA, they're all part of the restrictions that help us operate effectively as an institution. I say we shouldn't run away. They help us understand accountability, and we should never run away from that. We should, in fact, embrace it, because accountability helps us to recognize the areas that we need to improve on, because we've done assessment to be sure that we are complying or that we're doing what we need to do. All of us in everything we do ought to have student learning outcomes in what we do. There ought to be a learning experience for what we do. And it's hard to do that sometimes. In the dining, what are you doing to help? I can't know if you're still here or not. They'll say, well, how do I do a learning environment? Well, a lot of things. From helping students understand dietary needs and complying with their own medical issues when it comes to eating the right foods to stay healthy. Each one of us, if we think about it, can find ways to have a learning outcome that we can build into what we do to help students grow in their time at the university. And we find out whether we're doing it right by assessing ourselves, assessing our programs, assessing our services and practices on a regular basis. And that helps. Assessing it is only one part of it. It is, what do you do with the data when you collect it? Are you using those data to help you modify your programs and services so they become better for the following year? It's never a one and done. It's a constant, year-long, decade-long. For as long as we're going to be in the profession and the field, we're going to be doing assessment. We do it well, and we use the data to help us improve. That's my message about that, and I think I want to make sure we continue with it. So the second thing that's important is collaboration. We have to work closely, both with our academic colleagues, which is critical. I think that relationship is maybe the most important on a university campus. But it's also other folks on campus that we have to collaborate with. We work closely with the CFO and all the folks that work for her. We work closely with development. We should be working closely with development. We can help them gain what they need to know about students and the students that have graduated and what they might be able to do to bring it back. And besides, we have things that donors might want to help fund for us. So I want us to figure out how we can make better relationships with the folks on campus to collaborate with them, both to achieve their needs, but also to help us with student success. You see the other things I think we can be collaborating on. The other big thing is we're obligated to remove barriers that inhibit students from navigating their own learning environment and their own enterprise. Well, what do I mean by that? I'm going to pick on one of the favorite things that I have is the student activities, student organizations. We have student organizations and activities because we want them to have fun on campus. We want them to have the belonging feeling that they get from being in a club or organization. It gives them a sense of belonging to the campus as well as the group. We help them with leadership skills as they move up the ranks of those organizations, so that's important. And so why do I raise the barrier aspect of that? Well, for example, students can't register for activities, or couldn't, on our campus until August 1st, as I understand it. And I could be wrong on all this stuff, so forgive me if I am, but I'm going to use it as an example. If that would be the case, how do they plan for activities 3 weeks into the semester if they don't have adequate time to make reservations and do the planning for it? I'll tell you, my last institution, I discovered, because I was watching a basketball game outside my apartment, which drove me crazy with hearing a basketball bounce outside my door all day and all night. But as I was coming out of out of that apartment in the residence hall, there was a lot of people, probably 50 to 60 people, standing around this single court outdoor basketball court, and they were yelling and having a good time. And I asked one of the young women there, I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, these are a couple of fraternities that are sponsoring a fundraising activity on a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and they had entry fee and other things they were raising money for." "Oh, that sounds great. I have to run off campus. I'll be back, and I'll watch some of this." I left, and I came back in about 30 minutes, and I saw 3 police cars there, sirens going, lights flashing, and people milling around. No game was going on, and that young woman was still there standing on the steps outside my door. And I said, "What happened?" She said, "They won't let us play." Well, why not? We didn't register the event. It was an outdoor, open access basketball court. It happened to be 3 days before classes started, and we wouldn't let them play basketball because they didn't register the event. How do you register an event before classes start, before they're even on campus? And here's the kicker. The police had to have a 30-day advance notice so they could approve it. 30 days before the third day before classes start is, I couldn't wrap my head around that. So we worked to look at how we could change that kind of activity, those barriers, those administrative rules that we set up maybe 15 years ago for some purpose that happened 15 years ago that maybe made sense 15 years ago. Did they make sense today? Did they make sense at that time? And in my opinion, it was no. We looked at how we can modify that. We had a campus committee brought together for representing all the impacted areas, including students who were center in it, and we modified the reservation process to make it more easily understood, more easily accessible, and didn't prohibit students from doing what they ought to be doing, which is being here and engaging with the campus and with each other. So I want us to look at all the things we do here to see what it is that we have put, that maybe we didn't put in place, but we inherited, that might be inhibiting student involvement. And let's find ways to reduce, we may not be able to eliminate them all, but reducing the barriers that are out there before us. Meg, how much time do I have? Oh, that's good. That's two. I'm on slide. I wanted to talk about retention. And is that important for student affairs to worry about? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I see heads nodding. Yes, it is. We need to think about the fact that over half of the students who would enter college leave college by the end of their second year or before their second year. Nationally, not necessarily here, but nationally. Half. One of our challenges and opportunities is to retain students here. As I mentioned earlier, they came here for a reason. They didn't come here to spend, I don't know what your tuition rate is. Let's say $15,000 total for the year for tuition, room, board. Probably higher than that. Let's say it's $20,000 for tuition, room, and board, and books. They come here 1 year and fail out. Most of the students, meaning more than 50%, borrowed more than $10,000 to be here that year. They don't have a college degree. So now they're going back home to work in a job that is not going to pay enough money, we know that, for them to even probably get a good apartment, get a nice car. How are they going to pay a $10,000 debt on top of that from a university? To me, it's unconscionable that we would not do everything we can to ensure students who come to this university, if they have the ability and they have the desire, that they can stay and succeed. We, as student affairs, need to do everything we can to help them do that. I'm not naive enough to think every single student will succeed, but I am not foolish enough to think that some of them leave because we didn't do everything we could do to help them stay. I want to show you this slide, which is our own NIU enrollment over the course of from 2015 until last year, and you can see where the enrollment went down. You all went through this, you know it, you don't need me to tell you, but these are the number of freshmen who re-enrolled each year, meaning at the beginning of their sophomore year, and you can see that the numbers, where the numbers are, but look at the retention percentages. It's in the 73 range. 1 year went up to 78. This year is going to be 73 again, or just under 73. It means 27% of the people came here didn't make it to their second year and are experiencing all those things that I just talked about a moment ago. This is just another slide to show you the 10-year graduation rate. It's all been in the 70s. One time it was up as high as almost 80, but we're not succeeding in that regard. And if you look at the graduation rates here, I'm sorry, this is taken from your own data. I would have tried to put this slide differently, but if you look at 2010, 54% of the students didn't graduate, which means 46% did. So we only graduated less than 1 of every 2 students that came to the university. In 2020, well, the 2014 class is the last one that graduated. That's the class from this past year. And they were at 52% didn't make it through, 48%. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, 47.5% made it through. We can do better. And student affairs and all of you have an opportunity to help with doing that. Here's some of the ways that I think we can look at it. Creating the environment that helps students learn. And that means that we have some responsibility to make sure there are adequate study lounges around the campus and in our buildings, and that if some people are not letting others in the residence hall study at appropriate time, we need to intervene and help them understand how that's negatively impacting them. We need to provide the support that students need in order to overcome the difficulties that they have. So we need to provide adequate resources there. There are probably myriad other ways that we can find ways to support student success. And I challenge you each to think of it. What is your role in doing that? How can you help your colleagues, this division and this university, help another student succeed? You remember I said that we only had 73% return, so 28% of the students in the freshman year didn't come back for the sophomore year. If each of us, or each department, let's say, would focus on just 20 students, 20 students represents a 1% increase. So if we move 20 students back to the second year, we move it up 1% to 73, 74. And if 3 or 4 departments are able to do, I'm talking about different students now, not the same ones, different students, we can move that up to 75, 76, 77. It's not a huge number that we're dealing with to improve our retention rates. It's 20 kids, 20 students for each percentage point. Let's figure out ways where we can do it. Individually, if I can save 1 or 2 students to come back, I've done my job. And if you pick 2 students and you pick 2 students, think of how, it's not easy, but it's not insurmountable. We can do it. And we can do it together if we all commit to it. I'm gonna really go past these slides because I'm running out of time. I just wanted to let you know of the impact of losing students and what it means to them financially. In 1990, there was $24 billion a year going into student loans for the country. In 2013, that $24 billion rose to $110 billion, and it's gone up even higher the past 5 or 6 years. So when you think about that number, it's overwhelming to so many students. I'm going to show you one more slide because this is going to talk about the debt level now. The average student, I'm not speaking specifically of NIU. The average student loan debt is almost $40,000 when they graduate. You all know stories of students who are in law school, they have $300,000 and $400,000 of debt. And students in the medical professions. But these are students graduating like I did, with a liberal arts degree and master's. $39,000 in debt would have broken me. Median debt for the student loan is $19,000. That's still awfully high. I just bought a car to come up here with, and I didn't spend that much money. So it's important. The average loan payment $393. The median loan payment is $222. So if you're earning $40,000 a year, you lose money in taxes, as you all know this. So what are they taking home? In there, and so $222 has to go immediately out to pay college student loan before they take care of their apartment and their car and all the other things. The average, as you see, the average earning for the median earning for a college grad is $45,000. Okay, so we have to do everything we can to make it so students can graduate, because then they have a better chance of paying off debt because they'll have better jobs to do it. So I'm going to skip that slide. This slide is showing you what the student debt how it's significantly grown versus wages. If you look at the top line, which is green, that's where wages were back in 1990. It was $42,000 30 years ago. And what is it today? $45,000. It's grown $3,000 in 30 years. And the debt load, however, has gone from $12,000 to almost $40,000. You see that differential. That's the problem that we're suffering in higher education. If we can do everything we can to help reduce that, we're doing great. The moral point of this story is that the biggest debt loads fall on those least likely to be able to pay it off or coming from environments that make it difficult. That's the Pell Grant category students who carry the larger share of that debt because they were least able to do it. So I've talked about this, working with others like at University Advancement to help find scholarship money or gift money that we can provide. We can hire students. I'm not sure about Illinois. We have to look at whether it's possible, but we can find more ways to hire students to work on campus. When they work on campus, they're better able to focus on studies because they stay here. They'll be able to involve themselves. If they have an hour break between classes and work, they can go to study in a library or in a quiet space. It's important. I don't know if I coined the phrase, but I've used it for a long time, workships instead of scholarships. We can provide students opportunities to work off part of their tuition each year. You don't have to pay them for it. We say, you know, if you come and do X work, our department will cover half of your tuition this year, or whatever. That will help a student. We have to be creative, look for different ways to do it, given, however, there are laws in Illinois, situations we have to be dealing with. Why do we, I'm wrapping it up, Meg, I promise. Why do we exist? I think, I said it before, we're here because we're committed to student success and we're about dream fulfillment. And I'm going to read a poem. I'm going to tell you a poem from Langston Hughes, a famous poet, that he wrote that a president I used to work for used to use this all the time, and it just inspired me, and I use it a lot now too. And that's dreams. Hold fast to dreams, he would say, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, because if dreams go, life is a barren field covered with snow. Hold fast to dreams. And I've always added to students when I read that at orientation, hold fast to your dreams, because your dreams, once achieved, will change your life. And if you have your life changed, you can go out and help change the world. It's a critical aspect for us. I want to thank you for the time to be here and for the privilege of working with you this year, and I know we're going to do great things together. Thank you.
For the record, I was not pressuring him to finish up. All right. Thank you, Charlie, for sharing all of that with us. It's great to think about all the things that we need to be thinking about as we move forward this semester. For the remainder of the meeting, we're going to talk a little bit about student engagement, and then we're going to cover some updates and reminders that we want to make sure everyone's in tune with. So as most of you know, the first 6 weeks of the semester is critical for our students coming to campus, and not just our campus, but any campus. This is something that we have studied, we know a lot about, but we have not necessarily focused on that campus-wide, division-wide, and it's something we're trying to get back to. If our students are not connected in those first 6 weeks, they are much more likely to not retain, to not do well, to not stay here at NIU, and have all of the debt that Charlie was just talking about and leaving NIU and not succeeding in life. And so it really is our job to engage them and figure out the ways that we can do that the best. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we know is coming in the next few weeks, in the next month or so, and some asks of you all. That starts with our week of welcome. So last year was our first foray into week of welcome, what used to be welcome days. Obviously the pandemic made that a little challenging. We tried to do a couple things outside. We had movie theaters all across campus with 3 students sitting all over the place. It was definitely not our best foot forward, but it was what it was with COVID. But this year, even though COVID is still here, we have a chance to really make this happen. And so that is coming up. They start moving in next Wednesday. That's really close. So our students are moving in next Wednesday, and that is, part of our week of welcome is move in and all of the activities that are happening next Wednesday through next Sunday. And so the biggest piece of this for us is our students haven't been here for a year and a half. Even our new students, they were virtual for a year and a half for a lot of them. We have this new and exciting opportunity to reshape what it means to come to NIU, to be a Husky. Those traditions that what we used to do every weekend, that's not there anymore. And if we don't take advantage of this, it's our loss. And so we really need to be putting our best foot forward at Week of Welcome. We need to be there. We need to show up for Move-In. We need to show up for these events. We still need lots of volunteers. Move-In is happening Wednesday through Sunday. WOW is happening Wednesday through Sunday. There are events span all of those times. If we can't get enough volunteers to make these programs successful, what are we saying to our students? And so we are asking you to look at that, to look at signing up, to look at being a face that they see outside with your mask off where you can smile and really welcome those students and show them what it means to be a Husky here with us. So Move In has one sign up and Week of Welcome has another. Let's see if we can make this work. If it links out, it'll go. All right, give me a second to pull up the page. So for those of you who don't know, we have an entire calendar of events for Week of Welcome, and Student Affairs is taking the lead on many of those, especially the large initiatives and the late night initiatives. All right, so if you go to the calendar and type in WOW, we have all of these days full of events. And I really want you to check them out to figure out what's happening, because me telling you is not going to lock in your memory. Wednesday is a lot of kind of going around random programs for them to take advantage of because it's our day one move-in, and so we know that not that many students are going to be here. But starting Thursday, we have some really big programs that we need help with. I connected with our orientation folks this morning, and I know we still need help with a number of these things. So one of them being Jewel Jamboree. And I want to highlight that it's always the late night and weekend things that we struggle with. And so we are asking our teams, work with your supervisors, look at fluxing out, but how can you help these programs be successful? So Jewel Jamboree is that one that's going to happen late night. We just need folks to help them get on and off the buses. We need them to get over to Jewel. They've been great partners the past 2 years. It's been a great experience. We're going to do that again this year. On Friday, we have the ginormous kickoff event. It used to be Husky Fall Kickoff. This year, they're calling it the Husky Welcome Event, I believe. So it starts with the band run. That's happening at 7. They'll do the normal route through the residence halls that they always do. They're going to take them to Husky Stadium. It's going to be much bigger than it has been in the past, and it's going to end with a full night of activities right there in the stadium. So we're going to have our Meet the Greeks event. We're going to have the RHA Cab Block Party. We're going to have the movie night in the stadium. I believe all of this is happening until 1 o'clock. So we need folks that can be there, that can really engage with our students and show them how much we want them there. Then we move into Saturday. We have some of our other traditional programs that we see during the day, but we're really going to be able to feature this new Welcome Homes event Saturday night that I know many of you are involved in, but if you're not already, please reach out to Elena Wave. She is running that event, and we need lots of help. Every room and floor of this building is going to have stuff going on. We're really trying to give our students an awesome experience in the living room of campus there. And then we wrap up Sunday with 2 of our really traditional involvement fair and the President's Picnic. And even if you don't volunteer, we do ask that you come out, say hi to our students, really be there, welcome them. It's the day before they start classes. We really need this to be the year that we set this example for them, and we tell them what it's like to be a Husky. We show that and we model it. So beyond our Week of Welcome stuff, and that's just the first few days they're here, the Student Center is really working this year to make sure that they run intentional programs. And so Elena's going to come up and tell us a lot more about what that looks like and how awesome those folks are going to do this year.
All right, hello. So as Meg mentioned, the HSC is really focusing this year on creating that living room environment on campus, right? A lot of us spend a lot more time in our living room. Maybe that turned into your office in the past year and a half. But we're really hoping to create that environment within this building. Pre-COVID, we had our 125 kickoff, which was kind of the unveiling of the new renovations in the building, and then COVID. So our students don't know what this building really is intended to be and to look like, and that's our job this year, is to really create that environment so our students want to be here. They want to come back because they've had a good experience. They're going to bring their friends. So intentional and consistent programming is really our goal for this year. So working with the Campus Activities Board, we have a really amazing team of students who are excited to help in these initiatives and creating this, this living room of campus and having regularly scheduled events for students. So one big thing that we have coming up, as Meg mentioned, is Welcome Homes, and that will be continued with a couple other similar events called A Night at Homes throughout both fall and the spring semester. So one will be the Friday night of homecoming and then another before the end of the semester, and we'll also have 2 in the spring. Again, great opportunities for your offices to collaborate with us, host an activity, host a station. I will give you a program, you can just come run it. And we're really looking to beef up the involvement with our staff so students are seeing us outside of the classroom. It's so important that they're seeing us maybe not when they have to come because they did something naughty and meet with you for a conduct meeting. We want them to be seeing us in these really positive spaces. Another initiative that CAB is spearheading right now is turning the Lower Den Entertainment Center into Club 1895. Does anyone know what the year 1895 means? Mike. Founding of the university. How awesome. We have a space dedicated to that now on campus. So in the Lower Den, there is a stage entertainment space, and that's our Club 1895. So if you hear that, now you know what it is. We're going to be turning that into kind of a club lounge vibe for students. So that's where during Welcome Homes, we'll have a comedian doing a show down there. We'll be featuring local talent, student talent in that space throughout the year. So we're really excited to see that come to life. Let me see if I can, it's gonna ask me to log in and do stuff, so we'll just skip that. Okay. So there is, like Meg mentioned, a full programming calendar. We can share that out with everyone that is coming. We'll keep rolling. So a few things by the numbers. I like kind of breaking things down in this manner because I feel like it sticks in our heads a little bit better. So in this fall semester, we're gonna see 11 different programming series, so things that you're gonna see repeating over and over again. That also includes 5 monthly events, 1 bi-weekly event, and 3 large-scale HSC building-wide events. Those are the Welcome Homes and A Night at Homes events. Additionally, weekly we'll be having Glow Bowling down in the Den every Friday night, so our students know where and when these things are happening. Some of those regularly things, like I mentioned, include First Friday Bingo down at Club 1895. That's our logo. If you didn't pick up on it, it ties in perfectly with the Den logo, the Husky Grill logo, so we're really making that a continuous experience for our students. Wednesday, Craft Night Out, Huskies Care and Serve, a service initiative, Monday, Trivia Madness, away game tailgate parties, late night movies, Club 1895 performances, Third Thursday Karaoke at Club 1895, open mic nights at Club 1895, the Big Red Chair pop-up events. You'll see our chair after. Please feel free to take a photo. Take your shoes off first. And Welcome Homes and A Night at Home. So a lot is happening in this building. So if your students are coming up to you asking, what is there to do on campus? Tell them to come to the Student Center. We'll be happy to walk them through all the wonderful opportunities that we have for students. Oh, what am I supposed to click? I'm clicking something. Yay, here's Kelly.
Okay, so I have the pleasure of talking a little bit about fraternity and sorority life today. So we have a lot of exciting things happening. And first is we have an opportunity where President Freeman has endorsed a Greek life revitalization task force. It's a lot to say. But I'm excited to announce this. For some of you that don't understand fraternity and sorority life, we're happy to talk anytime about how it's critical to the student experience. It's a critical opportunity. I've got my friends over there saying, yes, this is awesome. And so we're excited for this initiative. There's alumni involved. There's students and current students. There are invested national organizations involved. And so this is a really great opportunity, and you're going to see a lot coming from that will include their impact on campus and what you'll see from our great community. So with that, I'm excited to have Sierra Myrie here, who is our current Panhellenic Council President. She's going to talk a little bit about what's coming up in the fraternity and sorority life community.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so again, I'm Sierra. Okay, so some really exciting things that we have coming up on our calendar in the next 6 weeks, actually, are UGC Week. We have IFC recruitment, Pan-Hellenic Formal Recruitment and MPHC's week, ending with a step show during homecoming. Something very cool that our council presidents have actually been working on, and I'm really excited to announce, is the community point system that will focus around all 4 councils and something that we can all work on together. So some of the key points that we will be focusing on, there's actually 5 of them, are cultural awareness, leadership, scholarship, service, and siblinghood. And focusing around these 5 values, we hope that we create a great bond between all of our councils and make the NIU community a better place.
Sarah is also another member of our SGA leadership that I completely forgot to introduce earlier because I didn't realize she was sitting there. All right, we're also excited to bring back annual programs that we did not get to see last year, or if we did, it was like something virtual that nobody attended. So the first coming up in just 1 month is Family Weekend. So we're bringing that back. We're gonna have full programs from Friday to Sunday. And in that weekend, September 11th this year is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So we're also gonna have a series of programs happening there, some communication going out, some stuff happening at the football game, some other things kind of here outside the HSC. So stay tuned and we'll get you all more information on that. But we're excited to build that into Family Weekend. Unity Walk is coming back the 21st of September. Same route as always out here from the HSC. So please come join us for that walk and really show unity with our community. We're going to be partnering with the New Belonging Initiative for that. So we're pretty excited to get that back rolling. And then last is Homecoming. Kind of early this year, so it's coming up pretty fast too, but it's September 27th through October 2nd. The parade is returning, I am told. Woo! I'm not going to say the day because I think it might switch back and forth, and I don't want to give you wrong information. But I do know that the theme is Husky Stars, which will honor our first responders in the pandemic, and then also the heroes of our students' lives. So we're really excited to see all of that coming back this year in addition to the regular programming we have. And that is all coming up really fast. So we're excited to use those opportunities to really engage our students in that first 6 weeks and get them connected to NIU. And so the last thing we'll say about that is it is an expectation that each of you put your events and programs in the NIU calendar. That is how we are going to be able to pull things out for our messages that go to students, how we're going to be able to really build up some of that engagement communication that's going to be so important this year. We really need this to be a division-wide and campus-wide effort to have everything in those calendars so that we can pull stuff out. So if you have not done that yet, please make sure that you do that before school starts, like tomorrow. All right, Zach Birch.
Hi, everybody. So something that we've been working on for the last year is doing some professional development around decentering whiteness in our work. So we've been doing a lot of book club that has been going on for about a year now. We did 4 books over the last year. So we're inviting everybody else to participate. If you are interested, our first book is going to be Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. If you are interested, please email me by, let's say, August 25th. And my email is zbirch, like the tree, at niu.edu. All right, thank you.
I don't know how I got elected to talk about the most exciting topic today, which is COVID, but I got elected to do that. So there are some updates we wanted to talk about today, and I think end with reminders. So first and foremost, as we all know, because we're here today, but campus is open. I'm excited for this. It defines our work. I think what we've heard today is the passion to see our students, the passion to give a student experience that impacts their learning and gets them, again, to the goal of graduation. And so I just want to remind that campus is open. And so when you are here on campus, you're going to see our students, you're going to see families, you're going to see visitors. And so it's important for us to keep that in mind as we do our work. And so that's exciting. We have lots of questions about masks. And so as we all know, because we are in masks today, for all indoor spaces, masks are required. And so this can be tough because other places you go, maybe there's not masks. Our students are coming back to us with maybe they haven't worn a mask all summer. And so please give one another grace in this. Please be a team in this to send reminders and do those nicely. Do those as developmentally as we can. We do have masks available in several different offices, and so if students don't have masks, again, connect them. Home Student Center has masks available here. We have masks in the Center for Student Assistance, and so we're happy to pass those out. And if you need help talking with students about our mask policy, please talk with your supervisor, and we can do that and support and help you prepare for some of those conversations. But as a reminder, so we are in masks indoors, unless you have a private workspace or a private living space when you are on campus. For outdoor events, it is your preference, and so it is not required for outdoor events at this point in time. And so it is your preference, and so please do what is best for you. And then same thing for off-campus events. We have lots of events that happen on campus, and that's exciting, but we also have lots of events that happen in DeKalb or off campus somewhere else. And so right now our policy is that we're going to encourage masks when they're off campus, but that's also going to be their decision to do as well. So if you have questions, please let us know, but I wanted to provide some of those updates. And then quickly, some vaccine reminders. And so as you know, we've made a decision as the institution to ask our students to be vaccinated. And so there's some options that they can upload their vaccine card if they are vaccinated. There's a $100 incentive if they can do that by next Friday. And then if they're not vaccinated and they wish to be vaccinated, they can contact us to get information about how to get vaccinated, and we can do that. The Center for Student Assistance can be a contact in that to show them where to find that. It's also on the Protecting the PAC website. The other thing is that we have some students that may choose not to be vaccinated for different reasons, and so we do have some exemption options. So students can ask for a medical exemption, they can ask for a religious exemption, or at this point in time, because the vaccines are not FDA approved, they can ask for a personal exemption. So if you have questions about those, if students have questions about those are all outlined in the Protecting the PAC website. So just encourage students, and we want to make sure they're educated in this. And so our staff over in the Center for Student Assistance, they're prepared to have some of those conversations. And so if there's suggestions, if there's things that you would like some assistance on how to talk with students about, we're happy to do that. So let us know. And then for employees, I want to do a friendly reminder that if you're vaccinated, please make sure you upload your vaccine card. And that will opt you out of having to test weekly. So anyone on our campus that works here, lives here, or has in-person classes will need to test weekly if they're not vaccinated. And so that is an expectation, and so please keep that in mind as an employee. But we also have the opportunity that you can opt into testing if you would like. And so if you are vaccinated, but you would prefer to still test, you can do that, and that's available as a service on campus. And so check out the website. There was an email sent this week to all employees, and so make sure to check your employee email for that information. So I get to end the meeting with COVID, which is always fun. But I also get to end the meeting with an exciting time that we are going to be able to have a meet and greet in the Husky Den today. And so this is an awesome opportunity. Our dining staff have worked hard to provide the space to us. Come down if you have time to check it out. Please have an opportunity to welcome Dr. Fay to NIU and the division. And just from all of us, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your work. And we are excited, and I hope you're excited for school to start in a few weeks. So thank you.